Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Welcome back to Rogers Center for the opening game of a 4-game series between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Texas Rangers. These two teams meeting for the first time since they met in the division series last year. Second year at the helm of the Rangers for Jeff Bannister. Let's take a look at the lineup that he's going to put out there against the Blue Jays tonight. Rougned Odor, what a talented young player he is, and look at how well he did against the Blue Jays last year. Hit for average, and he's got a little bit more pop than people give him credit for. Ian Desmond, new team, new position, and now swinging a hot bat. This is a guy who can really contribute over the course of the season for the Texas Rangers, and they will take their best hacks at the knuckleball here tonight. R.A. Dickey on the mound for the Blue Jays. We are ready to go as Odor steps into the batter's box and underway here in Toronto with the first pitch coming in low, ball 1.
R.A. Dickey trying to get in track a bit. He's 1-3. His ERA at 6.75. That's the highest he has had in his career in the month of April. This will be his 6th start of the season, and the knuckleball has been inconsistent, and he hasn't been able to really pitch effectively with that fastball. It's something that worked for him so well in the past.
Called strike of the knees, and he jumps out in front 1-2. After Odor, it'll be Nomar Mazara, a 21-year-old rookie who's been a real find for the Rangers, and then Adrian Beltre. Dickey working quickly and throwing that knuckleball about 78 to 80 miles an hour so far.
Yeah, and he's done a good job of changing speeds on it lately, and generally when he has a good outing, he'll throw a slower one and get some strikeouts with it.
Gets a pop-up here to Tulowitzki. Back into the outfield to make the catch, 1 down. Gives us a chance to set the defense for the Blue Jays for you. And no real surprises. Saunders, Pilar, and Bautista left to right in the outfield. On the infield, Donaldson and Tulowitzki on the left side. Goins and Justin Smoke on the right side. And if Dickey is pitching, that means Josh Thole is catching.
Justin Smoke gets another start at first base, and I believe he's going to have a lot of action down there with all these left-handed bats in the lineup. There are 5 left-handed hitters in the Rangers lineup, so Smoke could get called upon a lot tonight.
There is Nomar Mazara. He is the youngest player in the major leagues. Before he got called up, Roberto Osuna was the youngest player in the major leagues, but Mazara, who just turned 21, getting a chance to come to the big leagues because Shin-Soo Choo went on the DL, and Bucky has been raking from the day he got to the majors.
Well, he sure has, and they caught a break, and a lot of people that have seen the Rangers for a long time compare him to a young Juan Gonzalez from the left side. He's got that kind of skill. You can see he's got great size. He throws very well. He doesn't run as well as Gonzalez did when he first came up to the big leagues, but they are really pleased with what Mazara has done so far.
There aren't many guys who make Justin Smoke look small over there at first base, but Mazara's listed at 6'4", 215. He looks a lot bigger than that, quite frankly, as Adrian Beltre steps in and takes a strike. Beltre off to another good start, hitting over 300. Has not made an error yet this year, and was recently signed to a 2-year extension by the Rangers, so he's going to be locked up with Texas through the 2018 season. Check swing foul off, and it's 0-2.
Beltre's had some career. He came up with the Dodgers as a 19-year-old, and he started out there, and he's always been a terrific defender. Blue Jays really didn't see the 100% of Beltre during the postseason. He had that ruptured thumb ligament that he had repaired right after the playoffs.
Dickey locked in on the strike zone early. He gets Beltre on 3 pitches.
Well, Dickey was originally drafted by the Texas Rangers. He was the #1 pick of Texas, and here he gets that good knuckleball. Late movement takes it away from Beltre, and R.A. gets his first strikeout.
So runner at first, 2 down, and here's Prince Fielder. And Fielder, and speaking with John Daniels, the GM of the Rangers before the game, they're starting to feel that things are starting to turn for him. You can see the numbers are not very Prince-like. They felt his timing was a little bit out of whack in the first couple of weeks of the season. He has swung the bat better recently. The power really hasn't been there, but he's made the most of his hits. He's got 17 runs driven in, even though he's only hitting .207 with just 2 homers.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who just has a knack for driving in runs. You can see last year he hit well against the Blue Jays, but didn't do much damage. Just a home run and 1 RBI.
Sent foul down the left field line, and Dickey out in front 1-2. Dickey's thrown 13 pitches so far. 11 of them have been strikes.
Yeah, that's a good ratio, obviously, when he can have that many knuckleballs in the strike zone.
Now that includes, obviously, like a pitch out of the zone that Beltre checks his swing and fouls off. That's still recorded, obviously, as a strike, but Dickey has been locked in on the strike zone early. Pitch on the way and a ground ball foul. Fielder had some monster years earlier in his career, and whether he can ever get back to that level is another question. But with Milwaukee, he had a 50 home run season, a 46 home run season, has driven in 100 or more runs 6 times in his career. 1-2 again, and a chopper past Dickey, charged by Donaldson, and with Fielder running, they've got time, and the inning is over. Good start for R.A. Dickey. No runs, a base hit, and a man left. The Blue Jays are coming up here at Rogers Center when we come back. We go to the bottom of the first. No scores. The Rangers nothing across against R.A. Dickey, and John Gibbons rolls out this lineup for the Blue Jays tonight. Michael Saunders having a very good season so far, is at the top. Josh Donaldson, 9 home runs in the month of April, and very productive in action against Texas, of course, with Oakland. He saw Texas a lot. Justin Smoke, who came up to the big leagues as a member of the Texas Rangers, has done some damage against them as well. Goins, Pilar, and Tolley in the bottom third of the lineup against A.J. Griffin.
A.J. Griffin had Tommy John surgery in April of 2014, and he has really bounced back. This is the first year he's pitched in the big league since 2013. He's made 4 starts. 3-0, 25 innings. Look at the opponent's batting average. Righties 162, lefties 208. Done a good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark as well.
Michael Saunders up there hacking on the first pitch, and he fouls it back. Saunders is hitting over 300. You talked about it in the open off the top of the show, Buck. He had 2 of the 8 home runs that the Blue Jays hit down at Tropicana Field, and considering the injury last year and how little he played, this has been a great story so far for the Blue Jays.
Well, it sure has. He's gotten a chance to play every day, and he's very relaxed at the plate. You know, I think he understands he really doesn't have anything to prove to anyone. He just wants to go out and have consistent at bats, and he's been a real bonus defensively in left field as well. You remember the problems the Blue Jays had early in the season defensively in left last year.
He'll be followed by Donaldson and Bautista here in the bottom of the first. 0-2 from Griffin is up and away. Griffin missed the better part of 2 years with a variety of arm issues, a forearm problem that ended up requiring or turning into an elbow issue, Tommy John surgery, then a shoulder strain. Did not make a major league appearance in 14 or 15. And there's a good slider or cutter in under the hands of Saunders to strike him out for out number 1.
Well, let's take a look at the defense behind A.J. Griffin, and this has been a very good defensive team. They've not committed an error in 8 games in the outfield. Ian Desmond's in left. The line of the Shields had some problems in center, and young Nomar Mazara is in right. The Gold Glovers at third, Adrian Beltre. Up the middle, it's Andrews and Odor. Brent Fielder starting at first base just to get him back into the mix, and Brent Nicholas is behind the plate.
And Josh Donaldson is the batter with one out here in the bottom of the first. Donaldson receiving an award before the game, named the Blue Jays Player of the Month for April. And when you look at those numbers, he made a pretty good case for himself.
18 extra base hits. He had 8 doubles, a triple, 9 homers, and drove in 21. He's among the league leaders in extra base hits, RBIs, home runs, and once again he's off to a great start.
Yeah, #1 in homers, #1 in slugging, #2 in RBIs. The Blue Jays hitting 8 home runs in the 3-game series down at Tampa Bay, taking 2 out of 3, so they are 12 and 14 right now. Fastball inside of the belt, ball 2.
A little look out to the former teammate A.J. Griffin and Donaldson played together with the A's. And the fans, they understand the history between these two clubs.
Yep. They're remembering last October. 2-1. That's a breaking ball. That's high for ball 3.
That's a slow curveball. You see, it's 70 miles an hour, and it's really below hitting speed. It's kind of like a knuckleball when it floats in there.
The count in Donaldson's favor. 3-1 on the way, and a swing and a high fly ball deep to left field. Desmond is back on the warning track and has room right in front of the fence for out number 2.
Right fielder number 19, Jose Bautista.
Maybe a little bit extra for Jose, again with fans remembering what he did the last time the Texas Rangers were here in Toronto. 2 outs, nobody on, no score in the bottom of the first. Sam Dyson out in that bullpen. Will he face Bautista at all during this series?
Oh, you would think during the 4 games they're going to have another matchup, that's for sure.
There's that slow curve, and it drops below the knees, ball 1.
It's 69 miles an hour, and that is a real weapon for Griffin to disrupt the timing of these Blue Jay hitters.
Both pitchers working quickly here in the early going as Bautista grounds one down to third. A big hop for Beltre, and the Blue Jays go in order here in the first. End of 1 at Rogers Center. The Rangers and the Blue Jays are scoreless.
Martin getting the night off with R.A. Dickey on the mound, and earlier today he updated me on those neck issues he's been dealing with lately. He said he's feeling much better after multiple treatments from the training staff. In fact, he said he's now got his range of motion back and feels confident that he could catch on multiple days in a row. Now, I also asked him about his slow start at the plate, and he told me that most of his at-bats he felt like he was chasing a little bit too much and not swinging at the pitches he really wanted to. He was falling into a pattern where one at-bat affected the next, and it became a vicious cycle. But Dad, he said, it's a new month, fresh start, and a new look. Martin shaved that familiar beard off in hopes that it would change his luck.
Looks like a kid again.
It's a good look. It's a good look, and I like it. You know what? Ball players are superstitious, and they're always looking to change their luck.
Yep. John Gibbons was also asked about Russell Martin before the game and echoed the comments that Martin gave to Hazel about how they feel the neck issues are basically behind him right now. and they're hoping the bat gets going soon. They're anticipating that Russell Martin will be the Russell Martin that Blue Jay fans saw for most of last year. Leading off the second is Ian Desmond, and he'll ground one down to third. Comes up nicely for Donaldson. And R.A. Dickey records the first out here in the second.
This Blue Jays Rogers 4K broadcast is powered by the Samsung 4K SUHD TV.
Back at Rogers Center, no score here in the top of the second between the Rangers and the Blue Jays. Texas comes in 14-11, a half game ahead of Seattle for top spot in the American League West. This is a good baseball team. They were a good team last year. They've got a lot of confidence, a lot of good young players, and a number of players on the disabled list who will be coming back, most notably Yu Darvish. It's been so long, you almost forget how good this guy is, but Yu Darvish, imagine him and Cole Hamels at the top of a rotation. Darvish coming back from Tommy John surgery, and Buck, they think they'll have him back by the 1st of June.
Yeah, they expect him to pitch at the end of May, and Cole Hamels, he had an unusually poor start yesterday. Pitched just 5 innings against the Angels, but when you get Darvish and Hamels top of your rotation, that's pretty special. Darvish threw 97 yesterday in 2 innings of work in Double-A. He averaged 94 with the fastball. He said he was worried about blowing out his elbow in his first rehab start.
2-1 to Moreland, hit sharply, comes up waist high on Goins, and the throw from shallow right as the shift pays off. 2 down. So put Yu Darvish back at the top of the rotation, 1 in 1A with Cole Hamels. Also Shin-Soo Choo, a pretty good ball player, should be back in a couple of weeks from a calf injury. So add Darvish to what is already a pretty good rotation. Choo will go back into the outfield. And then Josh Hamilton, most of that money of course being paid by the Angels. Hamilton has had a setback on rehab from his knee injury. The knee is bothering him again. At this point, you don't know if the Rangers, they're not counting on Hamilton at this point. Anything they get, you'd have to think is a bonus right now.
Yeah, I think that's the way everybody has kind of summed things up with Josh Hamilton. There are no guarantees, and he's been dealing with injuries so long now, you almost have to kind of forget about it.
Elvis Andrus, the batter, with 2 outs here in the top of the second. The shortstop hitting .325 on the season. And R.A. Dickey, as we mentioned, has been in a groove from the moment the game began. 24 pitches, 18 of them strikes. And there's another one, and the inning is over. 3 up, 3 down go the Rangers. Middle of the order coming up for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the second. That means Edwin Encarnacion will lead it off. Troy Tulowitzki hit a big home run yesterday. He'll bat second, and then Justin Smoke coming up as well.
Blue Jays fans, we have some exciting matchups for you in the month of May. Of course, 4-game series with the Texas Rangers, followed by 3 against the LA Dodgers. And then the Blue Jays are up against their AL East opponents again, with the Tampa Bay Rays visiting from May 16th to 18th, followed by the Boston Red Sox. And then from May 30th to June 1st, it's the New York Yankees. Of course, you can catch them all right here on Sportsnet. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. Yeah, the LA Dodgers are coming to Toronto this weekend, and the Blue Jays are going to see Clayton Kershaw, right now scheduled for Sunday for the final game. Dodgers have a couple of off days this week. All Kershaw did yesterday against San Diego, and granted it's the Padres, was throw a 3-hit shutout, strike out 14, and drive in the only run of the ball game in a 1-0 win. He's worth coming to see.
Yeah, if you're going to make plans to see a game, Sunday's the one to put a red star on, because you'll get to see Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers. Friday night, it's a pretty interesting matchup. Kenta Maeda, the Japanese pitcher, will make his start here in Toronto.
Encarnacion sends one down the right field line with foul.
Maeda and Marcus Stroman open up the 3-game set against the Dodgers.
Encarnacion was out early today, Buck. You were here. You saw him taking some early hitting, trying to snap out of that 0 for 15 slide.
Yeah, they feel like he's sliding forward a little bit, trying to carve the ball to right field. They want him to hit the fastball again. You know, Dan, I think that's an overall theme that Blue Jay hitters have really taken to. They're worried about the secondary pitches instead of taking care of business, and that's the fastball. They love to hit the fastball, and they've gotten away from it.
Slider that is fouled off to the right. The count remains 2-2 on Encarnacion, hitting .240 on the season, has exactly 200 home runs as a Blue Jay, and we'll have a couple of milestones in the near future. George Bell's at 202, Joe Carter's at 203. The leader's Carlos Delgado at 336. Jose Bautista second at 248. Troy Tulowitzki waiting on deck. 3-2 pitch on the way. A broken bat, soft liner out to second for out number 1. And Encarnacion's barely got any of that bat still in his hands. So that'll bring up Tulowitzki and gave the Blue Jays a little bit of breathing room, Buck, in the 9th inning yesterday.
Well, he sure did. He'd missed a couple of home runs earlier in the series, but he doesn't miss this one. A high cutter. He got on top of it, and Tulowitzki, much like Encarnacion, has been sliding underneath the ball a little bit, and they're trying to remind him, hey, get on top of that fastball. Use the left side of the field. Don't worry so much about the right side. I think, like I said before, I think a lot of the Blue Jay hitters are a little bit defensive in their approach, worrying more about the breaking balls than they are about getting on the fastballs.
John Gibbons said that he felt that Tulowitzki, to coin his phrase, barreled up a lot of balls in Tampa Bay, just didn't have a whole lot to show for it until he hit that home run yesterday.
Well, you know what? When a guy has a track record like Tulowitzki, sooner or later it's all going to even out.
Popped it up back of the plate. Nicholas over near the third base dugout, and it will not have a play. Beltre over as well. Where would you fall on the side of this conversation? Some people say they got to cut down their swing. They got to use the whole field. They got to string hits together more often. And some people say that's not who they are. If they're going to win, it's going to be because they hit a ton of home runs.
Yeah, you have to remember who you are and what your strengths are. And you can't become an opposite field hitter if you're a poor hitter. Brooke Jacoby, the hitting coach, is always trying to remind guys, hey, stay with your strengths. There's that slow curveball again. You know what they're looking up right there? They're looking up the catcher. Brett Nicholas.
Yeah.
Said, who is this catcher?
Yeah. That's a Rangers media guy they got down there.
It's a Rangers media guy, and they're looking up the catchers. Yeah. Brett Nicholas is a journeyman minor leaguer that has had to fill in with the injuries they've had. Robinson Chirinos is on the DL with a broken arm.
You're right. There it is. Nicholas right on the left. I thought he was looking up their bobblehead day promotions this year to see if any of them were happening when the Blue Jays were
Now,
down.
you know what? I know how catchers think.
Good call, Buckaroo. 3-2. Drilled down the left field line, but hooking foul.
Now, that'll make Brooke Jacoby happy. It's a foul ball, but at the same time, he got the head out. He barreled up that fastball, and he says, you know what? These guys are good fastball hitters. Let's get back on the fastball. See where he hit that ball? He hit that ball way out in front of home plate. He went out and got it. And I don't care if you got 2 strikes or not. You got to stay with your strengths.
Again, the 3-2. Curveball freezes him for strike 3 called.
69 miles an hour, and after that fastball, A.J. Griffin has done a good job of incorporating that slow curveball. And you get out there and you're just trying to protect that plate, and it's difficult to do. And you can see the average against the curveball this season, just 111. And he's really used that as a neutralizing pitch.
It's a pretty good rotation the Rangers have. Cole Hamels is the one guy the Blue Jays will not see in this 4-game series, but everybody knows what he's accomplished over the course of his career. Griffin comes in with a 2.52 ERA. Derek Holland has had some success in the big leagues. He comes in with a 2.48 ERA. Colby Lewis, veteran guy, 2-0, 3.19. And then Martin Perez, who has a big arm, a good arm. He's actually got the weakest numbers of the 5. He's got a 4.20 ERA. And then, of course, as we mentioned, Darvish is coming back.
Derek Holland in the middle of your screen there has had so much promise, but the last couple of years he's had so many injuries to deal with, including a knee injury that required microfracture surgery. But he's healthy again, and he's got great stuff. He's got Andy Pettitte kind of stuff.
Griffin really changing speeds, moving the ball around on the Blue Jays, pitching well in the early going, up and in with a fastball, 2-2 to Justin Smoak. Smoak still in search of his first home run of the season. Not quite playing every day since the suspension to Chris Colabello. Definitely playing against the righties. There's a curveball slipped out of the hand of Griffin, and the count is full.
Smoak was a #1 pick of the Rangers in 2008. He was the 11th pick overall. But they traded him to Seattle to get Cliff Lee and Mark Lowe.
And that misses for ball 4. First base runner of the night for the Blue Jays. Now Ryan Goins. Blue Jays second baseman hitting 169 as we move into May. No score here in the bottom of the second. Both Dickey and Griffin sharp in the early going. Beltre in even with the bag, well off the line at third as Goins fouls it back 0-1.
Dan, there are a lot of Blue Jay hitters on the interstate hitting under 200, and I think at this point of the season you just have to forget about your batting average and get back to a good approach. Just try to get a good ball to hit, put a good swing on it, and that batting average will take care of itself. It is so early in the season to worry about it, but you know what? You see it every day. It's up on the scoreboard. It's hard to get it out of your mind.
It's the kind of thing, if you have a month where you hit 169 in July, it'll take your average down, but it'll never say 169 up on the board. Entering this game tonight, 4 of the players in the lineup, Tulowitzki, Smoak, Goins, and Tolley, who's not had as many at-bats, obviously, all under 200. But again, the production, the power, the driving in the runs more important in the overall scheme than the batting average, the way the team is constructed and the way the skills of the players are aligned. Down the left field line and fading foul. Amazing, the first time in Major League history that in a 3-game series a team had 15 or fewer hits. Blue Jays had 15. And 8 or more home runs. The first time that has ever been done in the history of the sport. Blue Jays just did it in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay, as you know, has always been a tough stop for the Blue Jays on the road. They've got a great pitching staff and always have. And you don't get many hits down there.
Swing and a miss by Goins, and the inning is over. Third strikeout already for A.J. Griffin. We're through 2 at Rogers Center. No score between the Rangers and the Jays.
it's your chance to capture the Cup with Sportsnet. Sportsnet is providing fans with the opportunity to win a trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. We're giving away a pair of tickets, including flights and accommodation inside every series of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The more you watch, the more chances to win. Capture the Cup with Sportsnet.
Hazel, thank you. Top of the third here at Rogers Center. Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez. No score between the Rangers and the Blue Jays. This is the catcher, Brett Nicholas, leading it off against R.A. Dickey. This is the guy that Josh Tolley was looking up at the Rangers media guide. Page 134. A catcher who's been in their system for 6 years, only in the big leagues because they've got a couple of catchers on the disabled list right now. Hit .268 last year at AAA Round Rock. Has a bit of power. A couple of years ago at AA Frisco, hit 21 home runs. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, he's got a big name to put in his book. He hit a home run off Dylan Betances of the Yankees, his first major league home run. That's pretty impressive.
He hits this ball well to straightaway center field. Pilar still going back, and it's gone. 400 feet plus, a home run for Nicholas, and the Rangers have a 1-0 lead.
His second home run, we mentioned the first home run, came against the Yankees' big reliever, Dylan Betances, and this is a knuckleball, and only the 4th home run that RA's given up this season, and he knew that when Pilar has to chase, it's bad news. He ran out of room in center, and Texas has taken the lead. Pilar gets right to the warning track, but that's well beyond his reach over the wall in center.
So the Rangers strike first in this 4-game series. This is Delino DeShields, the center fielder, hitting .235 in the season. Rule 5 pick from the Houston organization prior to last season. Of course, his dad was a terrific big league player, spent a lot of time in Montreal, was a Dodger as well. DeShields with a lot of speed, could make things happen offensively.
It's really interesting that he would be a #1 pick of Houston and end up being a Rule 5 player, which means the Astros didn't protect him. But then when you look at the Astros roster, they're loaded with good young talent. They just didn't have room for him on the 40-man roster.
Houston off to a surprisingly poor start this year. A playoff team a year ago. There's a soft liner into right field, and that's going to drop for a base hit.
It's time to convert your big outdoor tasks into short, effortless work. Make the great outdoors even greater with Honda Power Equipment.
So after a very good first 2 innings for R.A. Dickey, Brett Nicholas takes him deep for a home run, the second of Nicholas's big league career, and then a soft liner to right, a base hit for Delino DeShields. It's the 90th home run that Dickey has allowed since coming to the Blue Jays for the 2013 season. That's the most home runs any pitcher has allowed in baseball over that time frame. 1-0 Texas. Back to the top of the order for Rougned Odor. Odor popped up his first time up. A lot of people around baseball, Buck, think this guy is going to be a star.
Yeah, he really is aggressive, and of course we saw how good he could hit the fastball in the postseason last year. Had a good series against the Blue Jays. He's got a lot of speed as well.
He's just 22 years old, from Venezuela. Last year hit .261, 16 homers, 21 doubles, 9 triples, and that was in 120 games. He didn't spend the whole season with Texas.
Well, they sent him down early in the season to help him regroup a little bit, just a little refresher back in the minors, and it paid off big dividends.
Leaded first by DeShields, good speed, chopped foul at the plate by Odor.
I think the one thing that they have seen from Odor so far this season is the fact that he's slowed down a little bit in the field. He's not so helter-skelter all over the field. He really takes his time making plays. He's still got great range, but everything is with so much urgency as it was last year.
Dickey controls the running game very well. Snaps a throw over to first on the 0-2 pitch. One thing you notice when you see Odor and Andrus and Beltre, they get along great. You can see how much they enjoy being teammates. Beltre is a very vocal leader, leads by example as well. Weakly hit back toward the mound. Dickey going to second, and they will get the out there on a close play.
Dickey's a tremendous fielder, and he got off the mound in good shape, and his throw kind of tailed into the base runner. Tulowitzki was at the bag early enough that he's able to reach into the base runner and make the catch for the force out. And then he bails out of the way of DeShields. But because Tulowitzki got there quick enough, that throw to the first base side of second wasn't a problem for Tulowitzki.
So a fielder's choice, runner at first, one out, and the batter is Mazzara. Had a base hit his first time up. If at any point in this series Roberto Osuna faces Nomar Mazzara, it will be a battle between the two youngest players in the major leagues. Mazzara just turning 21 last week. Osuna off to a terrific start in his second season with the Blue Jays. There's a ground ball to Goins. Long throw to Tulowitzki. Back to first. What a nice double play. Dickey likes the defense from Goins and Tulowitzki here in the third inning. 4-6-3 it goes to end the inning. The Rangers do get the home run and take a 1-0 lead, but the inning ends after some terrific infield D by the Blue Jays.
Hashtag TBT t-shirt presented by Honda. Thursday, May 5th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Throwback Thursday ALDS Game 5 t-shirt. It's the series finale versus the Rangers at 7:07 p.m. Visit BlueJays.com for tickets. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. Bottom of the third. Texas leading the Blue Jays 1-0. Kevin Pillar leads off the inning. Pillar hitting .271 on the season. If you want to break that down, 188 when he was in the leadoff spot, 354 since he left the leadoff spot. Now, whether there's rhyme or reason for that, I mean, you could have an argument on both sides as he laces one down the left field line, all the way to the wall on a couple of bounces. Digging for second, and he is in there safely.
Sixth double of the season, and Steve Buechele, the bench coach of the Rangers, checking with their replay room. But Pillar's starting to swing it now, and I don't think it has anything to do with where he's hitting the lineup. His timing is much better. Straight leg slide into second. He beats the tag of Odor. and then pops up, and that's why they're at that replay room. And I think that rule has to change right there. I think if the momentum of your slide takes you off the base, you shouldn't be penalized for it because the guy holds the glove on you. And I think because they can slow it down frame by frame, yeah, guys have been called out. I don't think that's the right way to use replay.
Leadoff double for Pilar. Here's Josh Thole. Griffin will step off and look Pilar back, and now he wants to talk to his catcher Nicholas, maybe because this is the first time they're going to run around at second. They might change some signs.
Yeah, and everybody in baseball is looking in to get an advantage, whether it's location of the pitch or pitch selection. There's so much video in the game today that you can sit in the video room, spend 10-15 minutes, and have all of the team's signs before the series ever starts.
Who was the best you played with at picking up signs?
Sal Bando. Milwaukee Brewers were the best.
Paul Molitor was on that team too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thole shows bunt. Bunts it foul.
You know what? And Sal Bando used to tell everybody before the game starts, your job is to get to second base and pick up the signs.
Some guys weren't as good at giving those. I mean, getting them is one thing, but then you got to give them well too, right?
Yeah, very subtly.
Yeah.
Don't want to tip anybody off.
We'll look back at Pilar at second. Thole squares again and takes outside. You don't see the Blue Jays bunt very often, but given where they are in the lineup right now, Thole, the number 9 hitter, a chance to get Pilar to third with 1 out, so Saunders can bring him in with a fly ball.
Yeah, this is a situation where you might expect Thole to bunt here.
Take strike 2. So now that pretty much takes the bunt out of play. Nicholas firing down to second, but Pilar back in there safely. Beltre only backed up about 1 step at third. He is still even with the bag at third. Fielder backed off, or Moreland rather, backed off quite a bit at first base. No, it is Fielder, excuse me. Fielder at first base backed off quite a bit. And now Thole pops it foul back out of play.
Here's where Josh really has to grind to pull the ball on the right side. After not getting a bunt down, you got to really tell yourself, I've got to have a productive at bat and hit the ball to the right side of the infield to move Pilar over to third. Guys at the top of the order, they're the guys that are supposed to drive in the run, so give him an opportunity to do that.
Leadoff hitter Michael Saunders waiting on deck. 1-2 outside. Mets are off to a good start tonight, off to a good start this season at 15-8. They're up 4-0 early on Atlanta right now. David Wright and Yoenis Cespedes have both homered for the Mets. Andrew McCutcheon's got an early home run. The Pirates have a 1-0 lead on the Cubs, who hardly ever lose. It's going to be a productive at bat. Well, it'll work just like a sacrifice in the end. A ground ball off the glove of Griffin, and Pilar will take third. Let's go to Jamie Campbell now with an update. I'll tell you one of the teams that's a surprise in baseball. They're in that division with the Mets. Nobody's talking about them. The Philadelphia Phillies, who were expected to lose about every game they played this year, are 15-10 on the season. There's a base hit into right field for Saunders. Pilar will come home and the game is tied.
Well, because that bat of Josh Thole's pushed Pilar to third, the Rangers play the infield in, really cutting down the range on the right side. And then Michael Saunders, he's got the advantage, thinking, okay, I just need to get the ball to the outfield, and he rips it past Odor into right field, and Pilar can jog home. Interesting they would play the infield in this early in the game, especially that part of the order.
So the game is tied at 1, and here's Donaldson. He got that slow curveball, and he was out in front. Elsewhere on the out-of-town scoreboard, the Giants are up 3-0 on the Reds. Johnny Cueto's on the mound for San Francisco, and he's driven in a couple of runs with a base hit. The only other scoring anywhere, the Angels have an early 1-0 lead on the Brewers. An RBI single for Mike Trout. Here it's tied at 1 after the RBI single by Michael Saunders.
Griffin is working Donaldson off the plate inside. He did that in his first at bat as well. Oh, he got away with one there. Trying to go down and away, and he missed all the way across the plate inside, and A.J. Griffin knows he dodged a bullet. Donaldson is all over this pitch, but watch where he makes contact. Back over the plate instead of out of the plate. He was just a little bit late on that fastball.
Griffin got Tulowitzki looking on a 2-strike big curveball. Let's see what he does here with Donaldson at 1-2. It is the curveball, but it's a swinging strike 3 for the second out.
Griffin's using that slow curveball just like a changeup, man. It really is a slow pitch. You can see how he tucks it in the back of his hand and gets dramatic 12-6 spin on it. And it is so slow, right around 70 miles an hour. It's difficult to wait back on it.
So Donaldson strikes out. That's 4 on the night now for Griffin, and that'll bring up Bautista, who grounded out his first time up. Slider up high, ball 1. Bautista, the American League leader in walks with 22, his average down to 239, 5 home runs on the season. They play him to pull, not a full shift. Odor still on the second base side of the bag. Well, he likes that curveball.
67. He's dropping down even lower in the speed. He's got a good feel for it, and generally when a pitcher starts out with a good feel for his breaking ball, he's going to use it.
Big swing and a miss at a slider up above the belt. 1-2 on Bautista. This one where Griffin didn't necessarily put it where he wanted to put it, but again, as you said, maybe he got away with one there, just up above the belt. Let's see what he comes back with at 1-2. Curveball and almost hit Bautista. That wouldn't have left a mark. He didn't move very much on that one, but it just missed him.
No, he didn't move much at all, and you can see it's not very hard, and now you wonder where he's going. I think he's got to elevate again with the fastball.
2-2. He did elevate with a fastball, and he gets Bautista swinging. Frustration for Bautista. 5 strikeouts for Griffin, but the Jays tie the game on the RBI single by Michael Saunders. 1-1 at the end of 3. Here comes the ultimate cleanup crew, brought to you by Home Hardware's exclusive line of the ultimate hard-hitting and tough-on-grime cleaning products.
The Tim and Sid Show features in-depth sports analysis and high-profile guests. Catch them weeknights from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern right here on Sportsnet or connect online 24/7 at Tim and Sid.
All right, Hazel, thank you. Underway here in the top of the fourth. First pitch swinging Adrian Beltre, and he's thrown out by Josh Donaldson. 1 run, 3 hits for the Rangers, 1 run, 2 hits for the Blue Jays, and with both pitchers really pitching well. They've each given up a run, but they've both been near the top of their game here in the early going. Batter is Prince Fielder now, grounded out his first time up. See a report where the Red Sox have apparently announced that Pablo Sandoval is going to undergo surgery on his left shoulder and is expected to miss the entire season. Now Sandoval, yes he did, says home plate umpire Corey Blazer. Sandoval had played himself out of a job basically with the weight he reported at and the lackluster spring he had. Travis Shaw played great. He's now the third baseman for the Red Sox. And then after the fact you started hearing about the shoulder injury. Fielder with a ground ball, backhanded by Goins. Lots of time, 2 down.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Rogers 4K TV. Get closer to the action with 4 times the resolution of HD alone.
Back at Rogers Center, tied at 1 with 2 down here in the top of the fourth. One last thought on Sandoval. Sometimes teams have insurance on some of their bigger contracts. So if a player gets injured, it's actually a benefit to the team because they can recover some of that money.
Yeah, it depends on how many games they miss, and there's a deductible according to the games missed, but you could bet that they had some sort of coverage should there be an injury.
Red Sox, by the way, playing pretty well right now. They just swept the Yankees, who granted are not playing well at all. But they're also going to get Carson Smith, a good reliever, back from a forearm strain tomorrow. And Eduardo Rodriguez, who was expected to be their number 2 starter, hurt his knee in the spring. They should have him back within a couple of weeks.
You know what changed their fortunes? Getting Christian Vasquez back behind the plate.
They think he's a young Yadier Molina defensively. Incidentally, a guy he works with in the offseason down in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, for some reason there's been a real stretch and string of great catchers from Puerto Rico, and it goes back to Eli Rodriguez and Benito Santiago, the Alomar, Sandy Alomar, of course, and then all of the Molinas. It's been quite a run.
1-2, and a backhanded catch by Smoke in fair territory. That'll end the inning. A quick 3-up, 3-down inning for R.A. Dickey. Needed only 8 pitches to get 3 outs. Edwin Encarnacion will lead it off for the Blue Jays when we come back.
Enjoying those comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are special guests of TD pitching in. Welcome everybody and enjoy the ball game. Dan.
Thank you, Hazel. Bottom of the fourth here at Rogers Center. A 1-1 tie between the Rangers and the Blue Jays. The Texas run and a home run by rookie catcher Brett Nicholas. The Blue Jay run on an RBI single by Michael Saunders. Encarnacion, Tulowitzki, and Smoke here in the 4th inning against A.J. Griffin. Encarnacion with a broken bat line out to second his first time up. Takes a fastball right down the middle, and it's 1-1.
Again, we talk about the Blue Jays not getting on the fastball. They've kind of been in between, and they have been a terrific fastball hitting ball club.
Ground ball to third, charged by Beltre, and the 4-time Gold Glovers throw right on the money, 1 down.
Well, Beltre's healthy again. We mentioned he had that thumb injury during the postseason last year, and he had it repaired in the offseason and playing that Gold Glove caliber third base once again. He was limited in the postseason and playing all of those postseason games in the division series against the Blue Jays, but he has signed a new contract, as Dan mentioned, and they're happy to have him.
It's funny, one of the things he's best known for is that he doesn't like anybody touching his head. After he hits a home run, he comes in the dugout. Andrews will usually take off the batting helmet. Somebody will touch his head and then run like crazy because he gets crazy mad. It's not funny to him. But of course, the angrier he gets, the more they want to do it. He could do it, but nobody else can do it.
Nobody else. Yeah. And Elvis Andrews is the first one every time.
Tulowitzki sizing up that curveball, recognized it, swung late at it, missed it, and the count is 0-2. Well, that's a key pitch for Griffin. He's really put it in the minds of the Blue Jay hitters. What do they do when Darvish comes back? Got 6 pretty good pitchers.
Jeff Bannister, the manager, has talked about using a 6-man rotation. They've got a tough schedule ahead, and he says, you know what, especially with Darvish coming back from Tommy John surgery, and in Japan, starters pitched once a week, so that might not be a bad thing to have him pitch in a 6-man rotation for a while. Doug Brocail there writing notes. He's in his first year as the pitching coach here. So I'm sure Brocail and Jeff Bannister will work things out, trying to figure out. The tentative date for his return is May 27th, I believe.
1-2 again to Tulowitzki, and a fastball hit in the air to right field. Not deep. Dropping just foul.
That foul pop-up is the result of that slow curveball that was thrown earlier in this at-bat. And Griffin has thrown enough slow curves for strikes that the Blue Jays are a little bit late on his fastball.
Tulowitzki back to the plate, catches his breath, and gets ready for another 1-2 pitch from Griffin.
Now that's a cutter, and he's really using the kitchen sink tonight. 85 with the cutter, low 90s with the fastball. He'll throw that curveball. We've seen it as slow as 67 miles an hour tonight. Here it comes.
And there goes Tulowitzki. Strikeout number 6 for Griffin.
Well, Griffin had that Tommy John surgery in 2014, and he's reinvented himself, incorporating that slow curveball very effectively. And you can see the tight spin, and it goes down and away. And Tulowitzki, as much as he was trying to stay back, still ahead of that slow curveball.
So 2 down in the inning. 6 strikeouts through 3 2/3 for Griffin, and here's Smoke, who walked his first time up. Outside with a fastball, ball 2. Smoke has not been hitting as he would like, but he has had a good eye, drawing a lot of walks, some of them very important walks, leading to key rallies late for the Blue Jays. There's one that he thought was outside. Corey Blazer, the home plate umpire, calls it a strike, and it's 2-1. And line to Odor to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down for the Blue Jays. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn from the Samsung Broadcast Studio.
fans, our very own Buck Martinez will be signing copies of his new book, Change Up. That's Friday, May 6th from 12 to 1 p.m. J Shop CF Toronto Eaton Center on level 1. Congratulations, by the way, Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. It'll be fun to see a lot of fans there.
It's a good read.
Thank you.
It's a great read.
You, you helped out with one of those book signings. We had a good little evening.
It was fun. Here's Mitch Moreland to lead off the fifth for the Texas. Blue Jays put the shift on. That knuckleball. Moreland thought it was outside, but it is called to strike on the outside corner. You can see Donaldson all by himself on the left side. Goins way out on the outfield turf. Broken to bat roller towards Goins. You know, one thing you see more now, teams taking the ground balls before games in the shift. Goins having to get used to the longer throw. A shortstop like Tulowitzki getting used to maybe turning a double play coming from the other side of the bag. This is something they're practicing a lot.
Well, the Blue Jays scored their go-ahead run on Sunday because Tampa Bay was in the shift on a routine double play ball. Second baseman Forsythe took it on the shortstop side of second, and Brad Miller, the shortstop, couldn't get to the bag. So they scored the go-ahead run in that ninth inning.
Elvis Andrus. Do you think shifting has gone from an occasional thing to an almost constant thing? Do you think it's gone too far?
I do, and I'll tell you why. Especially with a team like the Blue Jays that have such good defenders with great range. I think you're taking away your advantage when you have great defenders on the field like those four right there. They can cover more ground than anybody else, and when you move into the shift, you're eliminating that advantage.
How do you think a guy like Dave Steve would have reacted? See, I asked you a question I knew the answer to, but it was still fun. Ground ball right at Tulowitzki. 2 down.
Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
2 down in the top of the fifth inning. The roof closed here at Rogers Center tonight. A 1-1 tie between the Rangers and the Blue Jays. And the batter will be Brett Nicholas, who homered off Dickey back in the third inning to straightaway center field. About a foot beyond the outstretched glove of Pilar, just over the center field fence. Second big league home run. You mentioned some of the injuries that Texas has, and that includes some of their catchers. Chris Jimenez is on the DL, and Robinson Chirinos is on the DL as well. So their catchers right now are Nicholas and Brian Holiday.
Jimenez caught Yu Darvish yesterday in that rehab game in Double-A. Robinson Chirinos, there's Holiday on the bench. Chirinos is not going to be back for a while. He broke his arm when he was hit by a pitch against the Angels early in April.
It's a team with a lot of confidence, though. They didn't get off to a good start last year, played better and better, wound up catching Houston, winning the AL West. They certainly have the look of a potential playoff team this year. As early as it is, 3-2 now to count on Nicholas.
The Rangers were 8-16 in April last year. They were 9.5 back on the 3rd of May. And then they had a great month of May, winning 19 games.
Their starting pitching was decimated by injuries, really the last 2 years. Ball 4. You look at the American League West, and Houston struggling as badly as they are right now. The Astros are just 8-17 on the season, the second worst record in the league. The other 4 teams are tightly bunched: Texas, Seattle, Oakland, and the Angels.
Yeah, I think if you get off to a slow start like that and you have good pitching, you can work your way back. But I don't think Houston has that kind of pitching. Once you get past Dallas Keuchel, it's very shaky in the rest of that rotation. They've had a couple of big disappointments. Ken Giles has not been very good, and they gave up a lot to get him.
Kind of the trade like the Blue Jays made to get Drew Storen to come and compete for a closer's job, eventually given the 8th inning job, and Giles, former Philly, has really struggled. And pitched just off the plate. And then one of the guys who went the other way in the deal, Vincent Velasquez, goes and has a 16 strikeout game for Philadelphia. And that makes it all that much harder for Astros fans to stomach.
Once again, you better know your horses better than anybody else. They give up a great arm in Velasquez.
Three and one. So after a couple of ground ball outs, a walk to Nicholas, and now a 3-1 count on to Shields.
Yeah, just like the Blue Jays, you have to get the bottom of this order out. You turn this lineup over and you're asking for trouble.
That's high. Back-to-back walks to the number 8 and number 9 hitters.
Well, R.A. Dickey has gotten off to a rough start in April, and it's been a tradition with him. When you look at his Aprils since coming to the Blue Jays, it's not been a good start to the season. And this April, his ERA 6.75, the worst of his run since he's been a Jay. And then you look at the other months, 3.83. Well, you look for him to turn things around, but at the same time, he's got to start developing some consistency, and there's a good knuckler to get ahead of Odor.
Odor has popped up and bounced into a fielder's choice, 0 for 2 on the night. First game of a 4-game series. Tomorrow night, Martin Perez will oppose Marco Estrada, Colby Lewis and Aaron Sanchez on Wednesday, Derek Holland and Jay Happ on Thursday. Foul ball. So the Blue Jays don't have to face Cole Hamels, and the Rangers don't have to face Marcus Stroman.
Stroman was great yesterday, recording a career-high 9 strikeouts on his birthday. And you know what? I think he tempered things down a bit. He improved to 4-0, and he pitched like a #1 pitcher, winning that series against Tampa Bay. Odor had a great division series against the Blue Jays. He scored 7 runs in that 5-game series. Had a home run in game 1. Got up to a great start, and you really recognized his speed.
He's disruptive. Just trying to take that one the other way, but he pushes it foul.
You know, you talk about Mazzara being the youngest player. Odor's 22.
Got a good mix on that team. The battle continues. The 41-year-old and the 22-year-old. The 41-year-old wins. A couple of men stranded by the Rangers in the bottom of the 5th. A big strikeout for R.A. Dickey, his 3rd of the night, as Texas leaves 2 men on. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Dan Shulman, Buck Martinez, Hazel May back with you here at Rogers Center. Tied at 1. Going to the bottom of the 5th, Goins, Pilar, and Tolley. 7-8-9 to face A.J. Griffin. First pitch swinging and a high fly ball, left center field. Playable for Desmond, 1 down.
A.J. Griffin, we mentioned his Tommy John surgery in 2014. This is his first year outside the Oakland A's organization. He signed with the A's in 2010. And last year, he pitched in 4 games in the A's minor league system and then signed with the Rangers as a free agent in January this year.
Here's Pilar. Pilar had a double and scored on the Saunders base hit back in the 3rd, the only run of the night for the Blue Jays. He hit that ball hard because he got out of the box quickly, and he runs well, and he barely made it to second base. Desmond out and left's a pretty good athlete, though, I think. You know, adjusting to the outfield after being an infielder his entire career. And who knows what the future holds for him beyond this season. Just signed a 1-year deal with Texas.
Yeah, he's an interesting story. He turned down a lucrative contract while playing with the Nationals, upwards of $100 million, and then last year turned down a qualifying offer, hit the free agent market, and he was one of those guys that was really penalized by that qualifying offer.
I don't know that there's another player playing today who turned down as much, and I'm talking about the multi-year offer you mentioned, and settled for, relatively speaking, as little as Desmond did. I mean, he had a huge offer on the table for the Nationals.
Yeah, he sure did, and he was a key part of their ball club, playing at shortstop, and a good offensive player. And there's some talk now that when Shin-Soo Choo returns, Desmond might slide over and play center field, and Choo will play left. Of course, that's all because of the success of Mazara in right.
Curveball inside at 67 miles an hour. The full count on Pilar. Josh Tolley on deck. (3-2). And that gets under the glove of Andrus into left field. Should be another base hit for Pilar. He's 2 for 2.
Pilar getting on the fastball, and that's been something we have talked about tonight. Blue Jay hitters are good fastball hitters, and he rips this one under the glove of Andrus into left field. Pilar came in batting .271, and that stroke's starting to come around for Kevin.
Some updates from out of town. The Reds went to work on Johnny Cueto, scored 5 in the 3rd inning, still batting now, leading the Giants 5-3. And the Cubs push a couple of runs across in the top of the 3rd. They now lead the Pirates 2-1 in the bottom of the 4th. Good rivalry between the Cubs and Pirates. Here's Josh Tolley. Lifting the first pitch down the 3rd base line, and Andrus will make the catch in foul territory for out number 2. That Cub team, I mean, huge hype and expectations heading into the season, and so far 17-6, off to a great start. They've outscored. We heard a lot about run differential last year as it pertained to the Blue Jays. 23 games into the season, the Cubs have outscored the opposition by 78 runs.
Yeah, that's an American League figure right there, and they've beefed up their offense, of course, with Rizzo and Bryant, and then they brought in Jason Hayward, and the pitching staff got better.
Part of that also is the bad teams in the National League are worse than the bad teams in the American League. So you're going to see the National League may not have much of a middle class this year. They got some really good teams and some really bad teams. And you may see some teams finishing, 40 games out of first place. There are some teams that are in clear rebuilding mode.
You say that, and one of those teams we talked about at the start of the season was the Phillies. And as you mentioned earlier, they have won 6 in a row. And they're getting some real good pitching.
Swept the Nationals, then swept the Indians. 1-0 to Saunders. There for a strike. Looked like a changeup there from Griffin. 82 miles an hour. I'm not sure we've seen that pitch. We haven't seen it much tonight.
Now, like I said, he's got the kitchen sink tonight, and he'll throw anything at any time. He's thrown cutters and curveballs, fastballs, and that was a changeup, just 82.
Pilar's running.
Yeah, he can run, especially with that slow curveball. You throw that curveball 67 miles an hour, that'll give Pilar plenty of time to get to second.
Two and one. Saunders with a Blue Jay RBI tonight and a base hit back in the third. His 9th run driven in this season.
I think the threat of a steal might coax Griffin into a fastball here.
It did, and it's fouled back.
So now with 2 outs, if I'm Pilar, I got to take a gamble and run. 2-2 count. You get thrown out. Saunders leads off next inning. If you're not, you're in scoring position.
Not going, and it's outside a full count, and now Pilar will get a running start. Fielder looking into the dugout. It looks like for now he's going to stay on the bag. Will hold the runner. With Josh Donaldson waiting on deck, hoping for an opportunity this inning. Griffin the set. There goes the runner. 3-2 swung on and missed, and the inning is over. On the 7th strikeout of the night for A.J. Griffin. We're through 5 at Rogers Center, tied at 1. Jamie, thank you. Well, the Raptors moving on in dramatic, heart-stopping fashion for their fans with a Game 7 win last night over Indiana. If the Raptors can get past the Heat, they'll play the winner of the Cavs and the Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals, but not going to be easy. 6th inning. Dan Shulman to Buck Martinez. 1-1 tie between the Rangers and Blue Jays in the first game of a 4-game series. So you want to be a catcher who gets to catch the knuckleballer, huh, Josh Toller?
You never really know where it's going, and as much as Dickey has thrown to Tolley, he just whiffed on that one. Swing and a miss, Josh. You can't get crossed up because everything he calls a knuckleball.
Fly ball to left field. Saunders back and makes the catch. Man, oh man, that was an adventure.
Seattle stayed with it. That ball was slicing away from him off the left-handed hitter's bat. And watch how he stubs his toe, falls to the ground, but maintains his focus and catches the ball. That's all that matters. He records the first out. That could have been disastrous to start the inning.
And you can see why he just took some sweat off his brow there. I mean, that'll happen to you fast in that kind of a situation. Adrian Beltre, look at that swing. Beltre every now and again will go right down to a knee on the follow through, and it could be on a swing and a miss, it could be on a home run, but he does not get cheated. A guy who loves to play the game and plays it hard. Liner to third. Hit it down to another guy who loves the game and loves to play it hard.
Well, the Blue Jays, they've got a very good defensive team. We talked about how much left field has improved with the presence of Michael Saunders, and Josh Donaldson has been playing Gold Glove caliber third base since he's arrived here. Perfectly timed leap, and he spears that line drive that was headed to the left-handed left field corner. Dickey has been supported by some good D here.
2 down in the inning. The crowd buzzing over both plays here this half inning. Prince Fielder, the batter, he's 0 for 2 on a couple of groundouts. That bat sails into about the 4th row of seats beyond the dugout. This might be about as interesting and adventurous a 3-up, 3-down inning as you'll ever see, with Saunders stubbing his toe and falling down. Beltre going to a knee on his swing on the pitch at which he lined out to Donaldson, and now Fielder saying goodbye to his bat. Down the right field line, that is a fair ball. And it'll skip out of play, a ground rule double for Prince Fielder.
Home Hardware and Building Center locations, proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
So a 2-out double by Prince Fielder, and the Rangers have the go-ahead run at second base with 2 down here in the 6th inning. The batter is Ian Desmond. Desmond has some power, has some speed as well. Fly ball to right field. Bautista tracking back, has lots of room, and the inning is over. So the double gets stranded. Going to the bottom of the 6th. Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion coming up for the Blue Jays.
Jays Flyaway Contest is now on. Enter for your chance to cheer on the Blue Jays in Boston with WestJet. Go to BlueJays.com/WestJetFlyaway to enter.
Bottom 6 here in the 6th. And a 1-1 tie between the Rangers and the Blue Jays. And the big sluggers coming up for the Jays this inning against what has so far been a very effective A.J. Griffin. Josh Donaldson's 0 for 2. And takes that cutter just outside for ball 1. Donaldson has flied out and struck out. Griffin has 7 strikeouts through 5. Has given up just a run on 3 hits. Fastball there, 1-1.
Now there's another fastball. I know it was in a good spot, but at the same time I think the Jays just need to pick out a fastball from Griffin and stay on the fastball.
Fair ball. Beltre, long throw in time.
A couple of third basemen flashing the leather here in this inning. Donaldson took a line drive away from Beltre. Beltre says, you know what? You can't hit anything past me either. Beltre's hugging the line a little bit. He's not far off the line at third base, and this ball bounces over the bag. And watch how he takes back. That ball looked like it hit the top of the bag, and he's still sure-handed enough to make the play and then use that strong arm.
Curveball for a strike to Bautista, who has grounded out and struck out. Griffin really handling the 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters. Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion, and Tulowitzki are 0 for 9 in this game.
This is the first time Donaldson has ever faced A.J. Griffin. So he is 0 for 3 for his career. Bautista is now 0 for 7 against Griffin.
He's thrown a lot of curveballs to Bautista, and the count now 2-2.
Well, that's a difficult pitch for a hitter because it travels such a wide distance to get into the strike zone, and oftentimes umpires are reluctant to call it.
Threw him another one. Popped up into foul territory and back out of play.
Charlie Lau, my hitting coach in Kansas City, when you had a guy that was throwing an off-speed pitch like this, used to tell the hitters, wait till he lets it go. And it's a hard thing to do because everything is predicated on timing that hand and the ball coming out of his hand. But that was the last thing he'd always tell you. Hey, let him turn it loose before you move.
2-2 again. And a strike 3 called on a curveball that Bautista felt was inside.
Looked like it was off the plate inside, and Jose had seen it very well in this at bat. Obviously, he'd fouled off the previous one, and you see pitch number 6 on pitch effects, and it looked like it bent around the inside corner and off the plate inside. So this is the third curveball that Bautista had seen in this sequence. He sees it all the way and saw it off the plate inside.
Yeah, that wasn't one where he buckled. You could see from his body language he elected to take that pitch feeling it was inside. Did not like the call. 8 strikeouts now for Griffin. And here's Encarnacion. Just 7 hits in the ball game, 4 for the Rangers, 3 for the Blue Jays. As now Odor crosses over to the other side of the bag, so Griffin will step off because with the count 2-0, they're feeling maybe Encarnacion's really going to try to dial one up here. So Odor switches sides. You'll see all teams handle things differently. Some will only shift in certain counts. Some will have 2 fielders switch places with each other, depending on the count. Wanting to have their best glove in a certain spot because a guy, say, with the count in his favor is more likely to pull the count. Not in his favor, more likely maybe to go up the middle. Every team plays it differently.
Everybody has the same information. They have the spray charts, but what's different about the defensive shifts is the pitcher on your team, the kind of stuff he has.
And there is some activity now in the Texas bullpen. Tony Barnett is up for the Rangers. 99 pitches thrown by Griffin, so as well as he is pitching, still getting that pitch count up there a little bit.
Boy, that has become that magic number, 100 pitches, and I don't care how a pitcher's doing it. You just take guys out of the game. And we mentioned that the Rangers are thinking about going to a 6-man rotation. And I think you could afford to push these guys a little bit further.
Curveball is high for ball 4.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Doug Rocaille, the pitching coach, is out to the mound right now to talk with Griffin. They have not made the move, but this has the feeling of last batter one way or the other for A.J. Griffin. Right?
Yeah, Rocaille this is his first year as the Rangers pitching coach. He was a pitching coach in Houston with the Astros for 3 seasons.
The batter is Troy Tulowitzki. Griffin has struck him out twice, once looking, once swinging. Outfielders are deep, playing Tulowitzki slightly to pull. Infielders playing him to pull as well. Eduardo still on the second base side of the bag. Griffin, a great example of what changing speeds can do for a pitcher. He doesn't throw 95, but he's got the fastball in the low 90s, the cutter in the low 80s, and the curveball in the high 60s, and he's been messing with these hitters all night long.
And it's difficult for a pitcher coming into a new organization to make an impression on a manager and a coaching staff throwing like this. You have to see him pitch for a while to really appreciate it. Everybody wants to see those mid-90 fastballs and a blazing slider, but Griffin is the essence of pitching. And good on the Rangers for allowing him to win this spot in the rotation. He's paid him back. He's 3-0.
He's fallen behind Tulowitzki, 2 balls and a strike. Now 3 balls and a strike.
Griffin's only given up 2 home runs this season, one to Robinson Cano, one to Colby Rasmus.
Smoke on deck should the inning continue. Swing and a miss, full count. So now Encarnacion will be on the move on the pitch. Blue Jays looking to break the tie here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Runner goes. Strike 3 called. 3rd time Tulowitzki has struck out tonight. 9th strikeout for Griffin. But it may be the last batter he faces, but if so, he goes out in style. The game's still tied at 1.
Join the big leagues and use a Blue Jays Acura luxury suite for a business meeting and a baseball game. Call our account executives and find the package that best suits you. 416-341-1635 or bluejays.com/luxury suites. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. To the 7th inning here at Rogers Center. The Rangers and the Blue Jays tied at 1. R.A. Dickey has been really strong tonight. 6 innings. The only run allowed in the home run by Brett Nicholas back in the 3rd. Dickey starts the 7th inning having thrown 82 pitches. Goins racing into foul territory to the wall, will not have a play.
The Rangers have a secret weapon on their bench that they've not utilized yet against R.A. Dickey, and that's Cole Hamels. Cole Hamels is 3 for 6 against Dickey, and he broke up a no-hitter back in 2010. Dickey beat the Phillies 1-0. The only hit he allowed was a 6th inning single to Cole Hamels.
This is going to be a base hit. A little jam shot in on the hands of Moreland, and a slow roller up the third baseline. You can see the smile on his face. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. So it came undone for Cueto in a hurry against Joey Votto of the Reds. 6-3 Cincinnati leading. Elvis Andrus shows bunt, and that pitch off the glove of Tolley to the backstop, and Moreland will take second.
Well, this is the knuckleballer's life. You get a jam shot that goes for a base hit because the Blue Jays are playing the shift, and then you throw a great knuckleball and it hits off the catcher's glove for a pass ball, and all of a sudden the go-ahead runs in scoring position. Josh Tolley knows more about the knuckleball than anybody, and he's had his problems. It's just an impossible pitch to predict.
So the pass ball moves the runner into scoring position. Nobody out, and a 2-0 count on Andrews. So 1-1 tie here in the 7th. That movement on that knuckleball taking it right out of the strike zone. 3-0. You would think Andrews is taking all the way. You can see very impressive numbers for Andrews with runners in scoring position. A 500 clip so far on the season. Fastball looked like there. It's in for a strike. 3-1.
The Rangers have really improved in that department, batting with runners in scoring position. As a team, hitting .304. Last year they hit .251.
Full count. That's one of the problem areas for the Blue Jays so far this year. They're hitting .220 with runners in scoring position. Now, this is a big pitch right here. Leadoff man at second, and a full count on Andrews. Fly ball to right field. Bautista back. Moreland took a couple of steps, won't challenge the arm, and heads back to second base.
Well, Bautista did a great job of getting set up for that throw. As quickly as he saw the ball in the air, he backed up to gather momentum to get in line to make that throw. Obviously, in a 1-1 game, that extra 90 feet is very important. But watch how he gets himself set up so quickly. Now, this is a red flag to the third base coach. He's gathering his momentum going directly toward that throw, and he keeps Moreland from advancing.
So a big first out here in the inning. Now here's Nicholas, who has homered and walked. Activity now in the Blue Jays bullpen. Right-hander Gavin Floyd is up for Toronto. Dickey's right now at 91 pitches. It's amazing how sometimes it'll move away from a left-handed batter, sometimes in, sometimes straight down.
That's why it's really difficult to play an exaggerated shift with Dickey on the mound. You just don't know where the ball's going, and as a result, you don't know where the hits are going. That's a pretty good pitch, and it affects the umpire as well. 1 minute it's in the strike zone, and next minute it's out.
John Gibbons on his feet now. Tie game, 7th inning. Rangers threatening, and Dickey behind 3-1.
You know, Gibbons would love to have Dickey get through this inning without having to go to the bullpen in the middle of the innings. The inherited runner factor has really been a problem for the Blue Jays.
Ball 4.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
So R.A. Dickey walks Nicholas for the 2nd time tonight. The Rangers now have runners at 1st and 2nd with a 1 out for DeShields, who has singled and walked. The 8-9 hitters have been a thorn in Dickey's side tonight.
They've been on base all 5 times they've come to the plate.
Each team with a run in the 3rd inning. That's all the scoring tonight. DeShields, couple of awkward looking swings, and it's 0-2.
One thing you have to remind yourself if you're in the outfield for the Blue Jays, who's running at 2nd? Mitch Moreland doesn't have great speed. So if there is a base hit, you've got to factor that in. You've got a shot to throw him out at the plate if there's a base hit.
Liner to right. It drops for a base hit. Moreland had to make sure that it was going to get down, so he won't even round 3rd. But the bases are loaded for the Rangers with only 1 out.
Tulowitzki coming in to say something to Dickey about coverage, and here comes the skipper, John Gibbons.
No signal yet. There it is. So that's going to be all for R.A. Dickey. A very strong performance, but leaves with 3 of his runners on here in the 7th in a tie game. A nice round of applause for Dickey. Floyd will inherit a very difficult situation. Bases loaded, 1 out, the top of the order coming up for the Rangers.
This summer, the Blue Jays Baseball Academy will be hosting 14 Honda Super Camps across Canada. Learn techniques from former Blue Jays Roberto Alomar, Devon White, Lloyd Mosby, Jesse Barfield, and Dwayne Ward. Register now at bluejays.com/camps.
Hazel, thank you. So a tough way for it to end for R.A. Dickey. You remember the base hit that began this inning by Moreland was a little squibber up the third baseline. Nobody there because the partial shift was on. That leads to the bases loaded, 1 out. New pitcher Gavin Floyd coming in, and you mentioned it, Buck. The Blue Jays have been dreadful at inherited runners. 50% of the runners their relievers have inherited have scored. That is the worst mark in baseball.
Gavin Floyd has allowed 2 of the 4 inherited runners he's had to score. Blue Jays need a strikeout, and Floyd has the breaking ball to get him that strikeout.
Odor is 0 for 3 tonight. The leadoff hitter for the Rangers. Moreland is at third. Nicholas is at second. DeShields is at first with 1 out. Odor would be a tough guy to double up, batting for the left side and with pretty good speed. And it's a foul ball. You could hear Corey Blazer, the home plate umpire, off the foot, I believe, of Odor.
Odor went 0 for 3 against R.A. Dickey, and John Gibbons just didn't want to give him that 4th at bat against Dickey. That familiarity really plays into hitters' favor. But Odor has not faced one pitcher this season 4 times in a game.
Boy, how baseball has changed. Huh? One. Runs outside. Moreland does not have great speed, the runner at third, so on a medium depth fly ball there would be a chance to get him at the plate. This one driven to deep right center field. Pilar back. This will be plenty deep enough. Everybody's tagging. And out at second, but the run will count. Home plate umpire Corey Blazer signaling Moreland crossed the plate before DeShields was tagged out at second. And the Blue Jays may want to have a look at this one, Buck.
Absolutely, and that was an ill-advised play by DeShields. You take a look at the play top of your screen, and it looks like they tag him before he scored. So the Blue Jays have a beef here.
I think the Rangers may also wonder if he was out at second. We saw Jeff Bannister on the phone. And the Blue Jays definitely want to check whether the out was recorded at second before the runner crossed the plate. And this is not something you could review when replay first came in. This is something that was added on later. And it looks like the Blue Jays may have a case here. And if so, that would take the run off the board.
Well, and DeShields on his way to second could have watched the throw and just stopped.
Right.
And that ensures that that run's going to score. But now the umpires are going to the replay. And DeShields, all he's got to do is run with his head up, watch the throw. It was on line to second all the way. He stops and goes back to first. No harm, no foul.
This replay review is powered by Samsung. The tag is already in the midst of being applied by Tulowitzki. And Moreland's a step and a half from home. Now the umpire, and this is important, called him safe on the field. So they would have to feel they have enough evidence to overturn the call. There was no hesitation on the part of Blazer to say that he was safe. Do they have enough to overturn it?
Pilar, as he always does, plays every play to the out, and that was that slide, and you can see the runner coming home didn't score before the play was made at second. But DeShields reached in with his left arm, took his body away from Tulowitzki, and that'll be the question as to whether or not he made the tag.
With the advantage of 4K, you can see everything very clearly. But is it enough to overturn it?
You cannot overstate Kevin Pilar and the way he plays this game. He never takes anything for granted. He fires this in there and knows he's got a chance with Tulowitzki in the tag. There's the hand in and the chest taken away before the runner crosses home plate. So now the question is, Was he out? And you could see the umpire calls him out at second, obviously, and they got to take that run off the board.
Yeah, I don't think the Rangers ended up asking for a review on whether or not DeShields was safe or out at second. If it's just the Blue Jays reviewing this, then the inning is over either way. It's just a question of whether the run counts or not.
See Rob Drake, the second base umpire, a little bit blocked off by that because of where the slide took DeShields right into the umpire's sidelines. But it was a terrific slide, one that Rougned Odor uses all the time. But now John Gibbons looking at his lineup matchup sheets. There's a new pitcher into the game no matter what happens.
Here goes. And no run. They're taking the run off the board. So the replay review pays off for the Blue Jays. Wipe out the run, and the game is still tied at 1. The action back underway here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The game is still tied at 1 after that run was taken off the board. Tony Barnett is the new pitcher for the Rangers, making his 11th appearance of the season. Barnett is 32 years of age, and he is a rookie. He's been pitching in Japan, and he's been pitching well for the Rangers. Born in Anchorage, Alaska, signed as a free agent in December, and after all those years in minor league baseball, overseas, this year he finally broke through to the big leagues.
You can certainly see the influence of Japanese baseball in his delivery. That hesitation and balance on his right leg, and we've seen it all the time where the Japanese pitchers have a distinctive pause in their delivery where they just gather their momentum before they go toward home.
The shift on against Smoke, who has walked and lined out. Outside, full count.
Barnett spent 6 years with the Yakult Swallows in Japan, and you can see the hesitation there. He gathers and wants to lead with his hand, and it's something that should give him real good control.
3-2. Big cut and a foul off by Smoke. After Smoke, it'll be Goins and Pilar. Credit Pilar with a great play and a great throw. Your thoughts on DeShields running at all on that play?
It's a terrible play. Yeah. You can run, you can tag out, but you don't have to go all the way. There's nothing in the book that says you got to go all the way. You go halfway, you see the throws online, you stop and go back. It costs the Rangers a run. And you can't say, well, I thought I'd be safe. You have to make sure, 100%.
Into center field, a base hit. And the leadoff man is on for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the 7th. Ryan Goins, the batter. What do you think the odds are of a bunt here?
I think they're very good. I think you've got a good bunter at the plate in Goins, and Smoke's not the swiftest of base runners, but at the same time, Ryan can handle the bat. And you've got Prince Fielder playing at first. Prince hasn't played much at first base this season. So you square around, get it on the ground. Doesn't have to be a perfect bunt.
Swinging away, double play ball to second. Hit it sharply, but right at Odor.
Well, the Blue Jays aren't one team to utilize the bunt an awful lot, but in a close ball game, you might have expected Goins to bunt. You got Pilar behind him and then Tolle in the 9th spot, but he hit it hard, but right to the second baseman. And now that is 10 straight games that the Rangers have turned a double play. They have played 8 straight airless games, and now they've turned double plays in 10 straight.
Here's Pilar. What a night he's had. 2 for 2 at the plate. Throws out to Shields at second.
Pilar's a good player. His average up to 286, and he does it right. He never takes a play off. He never takes anything for granted.
And he's got his 3rd hit of the night. And John Gibbons is going to go to his bench. He'll have Ezekiel Carrera come up to hit for Josh Tolle.
Well, Carrera's done a good job for the Blue Jays, and he had that great series against Oakland here at Rogers Center before they went on the road. He is going to pinch hit here, and this will be just his 2nd pinch hit at bat of the season. And now you can see the pitching coach of Texas coming out quickly to remind these two. Of course, Barnett fresh into the major leagues, same for Nicholas. So Doug Brocail, the pitching coach, coming back out to refresh these two about the approach for Carrera.
Tolle lifted for the pinch hitter. Tied at 1 in the bottom of the 7th. Brocail making his way back to the dugout, and Carrera now advancing toward the plate. A.J. Griffin was good tonight for the Rangers. 6 innings, 1 run. Allowed only 3 hits, walked 2, struck out 9. They'll get a no decision. Carrera trying to make something happen here with 2 down in the inning.
Now that's what you want from your pinch hitter. Go up there and hack it. Carrera had his first career 4-hit game against Oakland. He had a very good series against Oakland. Had 7 hits in the 3 games, and then added 2 more in the first game against the White Sox while Michael Saunders was out of the game.
The 0-1. We've seen a few moments in this game where the Blue Jays could have elected to make something happen, either by trying to run or trying to bunt. They have passed up on those opportunities. And Carrera now in the hole, no balls, 2 strikes.
I think John Gibbons is a little bit reluctant to change his overall approach offensively. This team has always been a swing it ball club, and he doesn't want to send any message that he's concerned about the lack of offense by using a bunt, something they haven't done in the past too much.
The 1-2 bounced in and away from Nicholas, and that'll allow Pilar to take second. Wild pitch. Charge to Barnett.
Well, Kevin Pillar's putting on a clinic tonight as how you play the game. Watch how quickly he advances. As soon as that ball hits the dirt, he's off and gone. You have to anticipate that to take advantage of a short, wild pitch like that. Well, he's had a heck of a game.
Now a base hit could give the Blue Jays the lead, especially with the speed of Pilar. Herrera pinch hitting for Tolley. Barnett ready. And the count is full. Michael Saunders on deck should the inning continue. We mentioned the Blue Jays hitting just .220 on the season with runners in scoring position, one of the lowest marks in the American League. And Carrera come up with a big hit here to push Pilar across with a go-ahead run. Nope. A changeup from Barnett swung on and missed, and the Blue Jays will leave a man on at second. Tied at 1 at the end of 7.
Rogers customers get free VIP Blue Jays experiences like alumni meet and greet, seat upgrades, offers, and more with Game Plus, part of the MLB.com Ballpark app. Learn more at BlueJays.com/Game Plus.
Hazel, thank you. Russell Martin is into the game to catch now after Josh Tolley was lifted for a pinch hitter. We move to the 8th inning. In the heart of the order coming up for the Rangers, 2, 3, 4. Mazzara, Beltre, and Fielder in a 1-1 tie. Opening up a 4-game series between the two teams who met in a hotly contested and memorable division series last year. The Rangers winning the first 2 games here. The Blue Jays winning 3 and 4 in Arlington and then winning 5 here. Of course, the bat flip game, however you want to call it.
What an inning. One of the most memorable innings I have ever seen in baseball.
Top and bottom.
Yep. 53-minute inning. And a lot going on.
Mazzara sends a ball to deep center. Pilar jumps and it's gone. Second home run of the night for the Rangers. And Mazzara with his 3rd as a big leaguer gives Texas a 2-1 lead.
Third home run of the season for the right fielder, and he has really stepped in and gotten a spot for himself in this lineup. He was called up from the minors, and boy, he has really gotten off to a great start. Pilar really got up on the wall, but it was well beyond his reach.
Both home runs the Rangers have hit. Straightaway center. Just beyond the reach of Pilar over the fence. 2-1 Texas. And the batter is Adrian Beltre. Beltre thinking that was a little bit inside. Floyd gets the call. The count is 0-2.
That home run given up by Gavin Floyd, the first he's allowed this season. And he's done a pretty good job of utilizing that breaking ball, but that time Mazzara squared it up and sent it out to center.
On the appeal, which was requested by Beltre. He didn't go around. Beltre and Miguel Cabrera, the only two guys I know. They asked for the appeal instead of the catcher. This time Beltre swings and misses.
Good sinking fastball down and in for the strikeout. Blue Jays bullpen starting to go to work. Left-hander Brett Cecil, the right-hander Drew Storen. This bullpen has got to sort itself out. They've got the arms that have had success in the past, and John Gibbons just has to stay with them and hopefully get them turned around.
Breaking ball for a strike to Prince Fielder. Fielder 1 for 3, had a ground rule double his last time up. The Rangers have broken the tie here in the 8th inning. Breaking ball swung on and missed. 0-2. Blue Jays will have the top of the order coming up at the bottom of the 8th inning. On the appeal, he went around. The ball retrieved by Martin and down to first to complete the strikeout.
Gavin Floyd has one of the best hard curveballs in the league, and he really snapped off a beauty to Fielder for the strikeout. And Prince just couldn't pick up the spin, tried to check his swing, but went too far. It's a late breaking, tight breaking ball. You can see that spin over the top in the dirt. Martin squares it up, blocks it, and then throws to first to complete the strikeout.
Now Desmond takes inside, and it got a piece of him, says Corey Blazer. Meanwhile, look who it is. Sam Dyson is up in the pen for Texas, the man who gave up the home run to Jose Bautista last year in Game 5 of the division series, and Bautista's due up third in the bottom of the 8th.
Baseball has a funny way of bringing up matchups.
So what we're trying to say is, don't go anywhere.
Bautista hit that dramatic home run to secure the series, and Sam Dyson then got a little bit of a discussion with Edwin Encarnacion and then patted Troy Tulowitzki on the backside. There was a lot of things going on during that 7th inning, and a lot of things going on here in the 8th.
John Gibbons on his way back to the mound. Is he looking for Cecil? He is. The left-hander's on his way in to face the left-hand hitting Mitch Moreland. Crowd not so excited with some of the struggles that Cecil has had this year. Lefty-lefty matchup. When we come back, the Rangers have gone in front 2-1 here in the 8th inning.
Catch the Blue Jays anywhere. Download the Sportsnet app and stay up to speed with the live pitch tracker, in-depth stats, and exclusive video highlights, plus live stream on the go. Download for free today.
Brett Cecil into the game for the Blue Jays. First pitch swinging. Mitch Moreland skies one on the infield. Donaldson there makes a catch, inning over. One pitch, one out. But the home run by Nomar Mazara. Gavin Floyd has given the Rangers a 2-1 lead going to the bottom of the 8th. Sam Dyson is coming in, and Jose Bautista is due up third. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie and Greg from the Samsung broadcast studio. Tonight's game, PlayStation provided us with a prediction of who they thought the Blue Jays player of the game would be. The video game version picked Troy Tulowitzki.
And you see with the video game selected a hit, 2 at-bats, single and 2 walks, and in reality tonight he's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. It's been a tough night for Troy Tulowitzki and for the Blue Jays. They managed just 1 run on 5 hits.
The simulation is powered by MLB The Show 16 only on PlayStation. Well, this is interesting. Here's Sam Dyson. When last seen in these parts, he was giving up the home run to Jose Bautista in Game 5. The crowd remembers him well, judging by the reaction.
Dyson was picked up mid-season by the Rangers from the Marlins, and he did a great job down the stretch for them. A real power on Henzer Alberto defensively in at first for Prince Fielder.
Top of the order for the Jays, Saunders, Donaldson, and then Bautista.
Dyson's got a terrific sinking fastball, and he throws it 97 to 99.
Saunders 1 for 3, an RBI single back in the 3rd. Texas, this crowd of 25,323. They're emptying their lungs right now on Sam Dyson. They're giving him everything they've got. Good breaking ball at the knees, and he jumps out in front 1-2.
Remember who Sam Dyson is and what he did.
He's trying to shut it out as best he can.
Dyson was actually an original Blue Jay. He signed with the Blue Jays and was drafted by the Blue Jays in the 4th round of the draft in 2010.
Just outside. A little flinch there from the home plate umpire, but he didn't go up the right arm.
Dyson pitched in 2 games for the Blue Jays in 2012. He was claimed by the Marlins on the waiver wire.
3-2 on the way. Inside, ball 4.
It took 8 innings to rekindle the atmosphere we saw in the division series, but it's back.
Here's Donaldson. 0 for 3. MVP chance now here at Rogers Center.
Donaldson has hit a home run against Sam Dyson. His only hit is 1 for 3. And this might be the exact matchup Donaldson needs. A power arm.
Dyson knows, and I'm sure Nicholas knows, he could be hacking on that first pitch. He gets a fastball in the zone. How many times have we seen Donaldson hit a first pitch home run? Base hit into left field. 2 on with nobody out, and look who's coming up.
Right fielder number 19, Jose Bautista.
Slider for a strike. Doesn't feel like May the 1st, does it? Or May the 2nd, excuse me, May the 2nd.
Even the players recognize the intensity.
Check the swing, it's low.
Bautista's home run, a 3-run homer off Dyson, came with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th in Game 5.
Looking to turn this game around with 1 swing. Way outside. Trained as a professional athlete to block things out, but it's got to be on Dyson's mind. I mean, we're all human. To right field, backing up Mazzara. Saunders has to go back and will not tag. He went halfway, maybe not quite, and by the time he got back, he couldn't tag.
It's the 2nd time Saunders has had this kind of mistake on the bases. With nobody out, you have to make sure you can advance from 2nd to 3rd. As that ball gets closer to the outfielder, the base runner at 2nd has to get closer to the bag. And watch the hesitation. Saunders hesitates. As soon as that ball's in the air, you got to go back to the bag and tag up.
So a big out for Dyson. And a missed opportunity potentially for the Blue Jays with Saunders still at 2nd. The batter now is Encarnacion. Remember, it was Encarnacion trying to play peacemaker in Game 5 last year. When Dyson came all the way in, crossed the foul line, and had some words with him.
Now he wants to disturb the peace.
Yes. 0 for 2 with a walk. Crowd doing its best still to get inside Dyson's head.
Another fastball that the Blue Jays just can't square up. Good hitting pitch right there.
Like like so many of his teammates, struggling with runners in scoring position. Way high, a ball in the strike.
There's a stat kept for close and late. 7th inning, tied or up a run, or the tying run on deck, and the Blue Jays are hitting just 187 in close and late situations.
And they've been close and late often this year too. Been a whole lot of close and late. They haven't been taking advantage. Tying run at second, a go-ahead run at first. 1-1 pitch. Good take there, down and away, ball 2. Keep waiting for that big night, that big hit that will, in a sense, maybe take them back to the way things were last year. They haven't been able to do it consistently at all yet this year. Runs up and in, ball 3. Troy Tulowitzki, who's had a tough night, waits on deck. Making sure before he left the plate, and the bases are loaded.
Bautista hit the ball hard to right, and Saunders couldn't move up. Now the bases are loaded for Troy Tulowitzki, and he has had a rough start to his night. But he salvaged his game yesterday with a big 3-run home run late in that ballgame in the 9th inning to pad the lead. Right now, he's just got to think about getting a ball up. He's had a couple of grand slams in his career, and he's hit really well with the bases loaded. But Dyson's strength is down. Tulowitzki has to make sure that that sinking fastball is at least above the knee.
So here we go. Everybody standing at Rogers Center. The bases are loaded with 1 out. The Rangers up a run here in the bottom of the 8th. And a fly ball to right field. Mazzara over near the line. Will make the grab. Here comes Saunders. Here comes the throw, and he's out at the plate. What a throw by Mazzara from right field to end the inning.
Mazzara's got a strong arm, and it really helped that he was left-handed as he was moving toward that foul line. His body's perfectly angled to make a strong throw, and he makes a terrific throw. He's got a strong arm, and he throws it all the way on the fly to the plate. Nicholas with the tag, and Saunders is tagged out. The Rangers still have a 1-run lead.
Blue Jays asked for a review on whether or not Saunders may have been safe at the plate. And as you can see from the pats on the back, the out has been upheld. It actually was closer on replay than it looked live, as Saunders tried to do kind of a swim tag and get around. Watch the left arm of Saunders try to get to the plate, but right there you can see fairly clearly, I think, that he still was out.
Yeah, he was able to put the tag on Saunders' chest as Michael was trying to swipe his left hand across home plate, and did in fact, but it appeared to be just a tad late. Disappointing inning, and the Blue Jays had an opportunity to come up with that big hit.
So meanwhile, R.A. Dickey had a good start tonight. 6 1/3, allowed just 1 earned run. That was on the home run by Nicholas. He pitched well, but the offense could not provide him with a lead at any point. He'll get a no decision, possibly his best effort of the young season. And now as we head to the top of the ninth with Texas in the lead 2-1. Right-hander Drew Storen is into the game.
Storen making his 11th appearance of the season, and Drew has made a slight adjustment in his delivery. He is pitching with a little bit of a windup. He had pitched previously kind of out of a set position, side-wheeling if you will, but he's changed it to a little bit of a pump windup where he can actually develop a little bit more velocity, but he just needs to pitch a bit more. You see, he's pitched just 8 innings so far, and I think he needs to go out there and really get an opportunity to refine his pitches and regain that confidence he's had in the past.
Top 9, 2-1 Texas. It'll be Andrus, Nicholas, and DeShields. 7, 8, 9 in the Rangers lineup to face Storen. Andrus tonight is 0 for 3. The bottom 2 guys in the order, Brett Nicholas and Delino DeShields, are 3 for 3 with a home run and 3 walks. But it's the Mazzara home run that's the difference right now, and the Mazzara throw from right field that has preserved the lead for Texas.
Good-looking young player, as he made a terrific throw to the plate and hit that booming home run to center.
Probably wouldn't even be here unless Shin-Soo Choo had gotten hurt. But John Daniels, their GM, said before the game tonight he had a great spring, but they just didn't really have a spot for him. Only 21 years of age. Choo on the DL with a calf injury.
Choo's going to go out on a rehab, they hope, around May 9th, but Nomar Mazzara is not going anywhere.
1-2 to left field. Saunders.
Well, the Blue Jays bullpen, they need to regain some confidence. Brett Cecil had a good outing. He was able to get Mitch Moreland to pop out to end the 8th inning and get out of that inning. And now Drew Storen gets the first out of his appearance here in the ninth.
Here's Nicholas. A home run and a couple of walks tonight. The home run is second as a big leaguer. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth, the Blue Jays will send up Justin Smoak, Ryan Goins, and Kevin Pillar. Strike, 2-1.
Good movement on that fastball as it catches the outside corner. That is Sean Tollison, the closer for Texas. He's pitched well outside of one outing where they gave up 5 runs.
Ground ball past the mound. Big hop for Goins. 2 down. The Blue Jays have had not many chances tonight, but they've had a couple of chances. In the 7th inning, a leadoff base hit. They elect not to bunt. Goins hits the ball sharply, but grounds into a double play. And then, of course, in the 8th inning, the bases loaded, 1 out, the fly ball to right field. Zara throws out. Saunders at the plate. Texas still leads. The Blue Jays have been kind of living on the edges so far this year, and they have, it seems, Buck, they've come up one pitch short, one hit short, even one little intangible play like taking an extra base short more often than not.
Even the Michael Saunders play where he didn't advance from second to third on the fly ball to right with nobody out. Those little things obviously add up when you're struggling to score runs.
1-2, the count on to Shields. Going to the bottom of the ninth. Texas 2 and the Blue Jays 1. Sean Tollison will come in for the pen for the Rangers as they look to take the opener of the series. Game is brought to you by all new Honda Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Top of the 8th inning in a 1-1 game. 21-year-old Nomar Mazara hits a high cutter, takes it deep to center field. That is the difference in this ball game. Mazara, his 3rd home run of the season. He's had a 19 home run season in the minor leagues. He had 55 home runs in 4 years in the minor leagues, and he looks like he's going to develop some real power.
The closer for the Rangers is on. Sean Tollison looking to lock it up here and protect this 1-run lead. He's 8 of 9. As Buck mentioned, had one ugly outing. Other than that, he's been good. He'll face Smoke, Goins, and Pilar.
Tollison picked up his 8th save against the Angels on Friday night in Arlington. Threw just 11 pitches and struck out 2.
A strike at the knees. Smoke has walked, lined out, and singled tonight. The only run for the Jays back in the 3rd on an RBI single by Michael Saunders. 6, 7, and 8 coming up here in the bottom of the 9th.
This trio of relief pitchers for Texas has been very effective. Barnett, Dyson, and Tollison.
Fastball there for a strike. Barnett's got a chance to pick up his first major league win. He's the pitcher of record. Gavin Floyd would take the loss. Liner to center and dropped. DeShields can't hang on to it, and Smoke is aboard. And immediately springing out of the dugout is Darwin Varney to pinch run.
The liner to Shields has not played great in the defensively in center field, and here he has a chance to make a nice sliding catch, but it pops right out of his glove. That allows the leadoff man to reach here, and he had a play against Anaheim in yesterday's game where a fly ball fell in front of him, and that led to a big inning for the Angels. And Smoke has had a nice night against his former team.
All right, I asked you in the 7th about a bunt. Now I'll ask you again in the 9th.
Yeah, I gotta think they got a bunt now with Goins at the plate. Barney, the pinch runner at first.
Pulls it back and takes ball 1.
Goins in this situation now with nobody out. You got Pilar and now Russell Martin in the 9th spot.
Gets it down. Throw to second. They got him. Throw to first. Not in time.
Boy, Tolleson did that perfectly. He broke at a 45-degree angle toward the first baseline and quickly spun and fired a strike to second to get the lead runner. Running a little bit too close to the mound. Watch the pitcher react here. He gets to it quickly. No hesitation at all. They get one at second and barely missed getting the double play at first.
Left-hander Cesar Ramos is up in the pen right now. Presumably that would be for Saunders if it got that far. The batter's Pilar. He's 3 for 3. And he takes a strike. 3 for 3 has thrown out a runner. Tying run at first. Pilar the winning run with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th.
Pilar's had 1 career 4-hit day. That came on the 2nd of July last year against Boston. Be a good time for his 2nd 4-hit.
0-1. Great stop, Andrews. Throw to second in time. Safe at first on the fielder's choice, Pilar. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central, here are Kennedy Vaughn. Thank you. A great play by Andrews, and now Jeff Bannister's out, and I gotta believe he wants to take a look at this slide by Goins out at second base.
Rob Drake is the second base umpire, and you can see Steve Buechele in the dugout. The bench coach gave him the safe sign. Thought the slide was acceptable. What a play by Elvis Andrus. That was a base hit headed to left, and he makes a strong throw. Nothing wrong with that slide. He slides right into the base. And this is something that the Rangers second baseman Odor has done all season long because of this new rule. He gets to the bag and he just hangs out there, knowing full well that if there is illegal contact, they're going to be credited with that double play. What a terrific play by Andrus, and Odor is just camped out on the bag. Pilar hustling down the line beats the return to first.
And now John Gibbons has asked for something as all 4 umpires are now convening on the infield.
Got to be the neighborhood play, whether or not he touched the bag at second. And they're going to have a look at it. That's the only thing I can think of that Gibbons would be questioning. Odor got to the bag at second, and it'd be a matter of whether or not he made contact with the base. There's the throw. He was off the base, looked like. Tough to tell, but a hard play to overturn because it's really not that definitive.
Looked like he had the left foot on the bag at one point. Did he take it off the base before he caught the ball? This is the most common type of play that we've seen. I think it's going to be okay for Texas.
It looked like he had
still on. Yeah.
Maintained contact with the bag while he was catching the ball.
The crowd is oohing and eyeing, but this might be the best look. He stretches, but I think he's still on. But again, the call on the field is out, and it looks like that's been upheld. So, after everybody's had their say, the Blue Jays are down to their final out. The batter was Russell Martin, who came on defensively for the 8th inning after Tolley was lifted for a pinch hitter. Pilar with good speed at first. 2-1 Texas, bottom 9.
Kevin is 2 for 3 in stolen bases this season.
You just rarely see teams run in this situation, though. Always afraid of making the last out on the bases. Will he be going? Martin takes ball 1. Big hole on the right side. Martin likes to shoot the ball the other way. Swing and a miss. It has been a struggle, to say the least, so far this year for Russell Martin. Getting 143 on the season, and the strikeouts jump out at you. 31 strikeouts and 63 at bats.
He's been dealing with that neck spasm, and Hazel May told us earlier that he's starting to feel better.
Check the swing. Pilar holds on the appeal. No swing confirmed. It's ball 2.
Pilar advanced on a short wild pitch in the 7th. Similar ball in the dirt. He's a terrific instinctive base runner.
Fouled back, 2-2. Now the Jays are down to their last strike. Difference in the game, really, a couple of plays by Nomar Mazara, the youngest player of the majors, a home run to break the tie in the 8th, and then in the bottom of the 8th inning throws out the potential tying run at the plate. 2-2, chop foul.
Yeah, Mazara's had quite a night, and we heard about this youngster. His power, his home run was his 3rd, but the arm strength, and you just don't see many young players come up and make strong, accurate throws the way he did to gun down cylinders at the plate.
Two. Chopper to the left of the shortstop Andrews. He'll be Pilar to the bag, and the Rangers win it. Tollison picks up the save, and Texas hands the Blue Jays another narrow defeat. Been a story for the Blue Jays this year. Another 1-run loss. They're now 2-7, Buck, in 1-run games this year.
Yeah, and the Blue Jays had a couple of opportunities. They just couldn't come up with big hits in the 5th inning. They had a couple of 2-out walks and then just couldn't really capitalize. And this team is struggling for a big hit right now. And Nomar Mazara, the young right fielder, did a terrific job with the bat and with his strong arm. And Texas takes the opener this 4-game series.
Barnett gets the win, Tollison the save, Floyd the loss. A 2-1 win for the Rangers over the Blue Jays in the first game of a 4-game series here at Rogers Center this week. Time now for Sportsnet Central. Let's send you back to the studio with Ken.